All right, welcome to part 2 of the underrated epic champions. We are joined by Hellhades. How's it going, Hellhades?
Hey guys, how we doing? Yeah, good. Cheers, Ali. How are you?
Pretty good, man. If this is your first time seeing this video, make sure you guys go watch part 1 so you guys know what's going on. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. So we're going to start off with me. I'm going to talk about the next champion that is one of the most underrated epic champions in the game, and they can help a lot of accounts out from the Ogren tribes. It's going to be Grimskin.
Grimskin, yeah.
So Grimskin is one of those champions that got reworked. Even after he got reworked, people still were making videos on him or talking about him. I think Stu Gaming made a video on him. Yeah, so this guy used to... He was always defense based, but his damage was never based on his defense. And now his damage is based on defense. So usually those type of champions are really good because they are durable and then they can dish out a lot of damage. So they are like kind of like bruisers.
Yeah.
So his A1 ability, he has decreased speed on it. I guess that is kind of helpful, depending if you need it anywhere. Like, so let's say Fire and Ice Castle, things like that. His A2 ability is a double hit. And then each hit has a 50% chance. And it's going to be 70% if you max it out, of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. And then he also has, if you max it out, a 60% chance of placing provoke on all enemies for 1 turn if the first provoke debuff is placed. So to me, that is amazing. That's basically an AoE provoke right there.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a 3-turn cooldown, so that is very nice. I mean, you got Skull Lord Vargal right there, man. You can't even do that.
It's like an improvement, an improvement on Skull Lord right there. Mad. Yeah. Mad.
And then he also has an AoE on his third ability, his A3. That has a 80% chance, or 100% if you want to max it out, of removing one random buff from each target. So that's like almost guaranteed if you reach the accuracy, if you pass the accuracy check.
Yeah. He's actually got an insane base defense as well, right? Like 1400 is huge. Yeah, that's a huge number.
I guess the issue is he just looks weird.
Yeah, I was thinking that before you started talking. Like, what are they? Like, what's he been doing?
Isn't that like oil, right?
Yeah, he's like had a bath in oil or something. I don't know. Like, weird skin. This one. I think that's what puts people off. He's got his massive fat like forearms.
Burn him, man. Just burn him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to jump into my one. My first one for today is going to be in the Undead
Hordes.
So Undead Hordes. Check out Corpse Collector. So Corpse Collector on the right. She's Force Affinity. Now, since they buffed Leech, I think Leech is a much more usable debuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially for Clan Boss. But not just for Clan Boss, actually. For pretty much anywhere in the game. If you're trying to beat Dragon and you need somebody that... You need a form of healing. Actually, Leech is now really strong. So she's got, on her A1, a Leech, which is 40% chance to place. She's got, on her A2, an AoE ability. So she can put heal reduction out, decrease accuracy. I mean, decrease accuracy is a pretty bad debuff, if I'm honest, but you know, in some instances, I guess it's okay. But the heal reduction could be nice in some dungeons.
Yeah, heal reduction.
But the other one that I like is her A3. So she hits 3 times at random. So against something like Clan Boss, that's always in the same place, or against something like the Dragon, it's always at the same place. Yeah. And each hit has got a really strong chance of placing the big version of poison. So all of a sudden, you've got a triple poison land. You've got a Leech debuff, which for any boss fight is actually really solid. So I think that recent buff to Leech has really allowed her to kind of rise up. She's also got a really strong base speed. So, yeah, for me, she's somebody that probably everyone's been overlooking. And I think right now she could be pretty relevant. Yeah,
especially since, you know, you mentioned that they buffed up Leech. They also buffed up Veil as well. She also has Veil on her A3. So that's very nice. You don't have any issues.
Yeah, true.
You won't have a lot of issues keeping her alive, I guess.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So, yeah, I think she's quite overlooked, actually.
All right, so the next champion is going to be the same faction, so we're going to stay here. And it's going to be Defiled Sinner. So,
Defiled Sinner.
What I like about this guy is he actually has a situational. So he actually, his A1 is situational, so it depends on where you're fighting or how many enemies you're facing. He's going to switch up what he does, right?
Right.
So his A1 has a big version of decreased defense. He does that before attacking, so that's always good. So that's going to boost his damage right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And if, I read it over here, like I really like this ability. If there's 5 or more enemies that are alive, he does the following attack instead. So he does an AoE that places increased attack on himself before attacking. But the thing is, though, I'm still working on mine. I want to test him out. Is that does he still place that decreased defense before he attacks as well, or is it just completely switched into that AoE? That's what I really want to find out. So we'll be testing on that.
It reads like it switches, doesn't it? It reads like it doesn't do the decreased defense at all, which potentially
could be worse, I guess, depending on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if that was for Spider, like if he was still able to place that decreased defense and then use his AoE, that would be very nice. And especially if you want to build him like as like a stun set. And Ripe for Slaughter is actually an ability that's based on enemy max HP. But I feel like Plarium kind of nerfed him over here. Because he attacks one enemy and then he attacks all enemies and then he inflicts damage equal to 15% of their max HP. So I guess they kind of nerfed his any max HP ability. And they said he can't be crit. So that's the only issue I have with this champion, is that Plarium, like, for whatever reason, I don't know why they did this. Like, come on, Cold Heart does damage based on enemy max HP. She's a rare champion, right?
Yeah, same with Royal Guards basically does this ability, but with crits, doesn't it?
Yeah, he does. So I don't know what Plarium was thinking there, but they could have had a really good champion. But I still think he still has use, because he also has, so he basically has AoEs everywhere, right? His A1 if you're facing multiple enemies, his A2, and also his A3, and then damage increases by 10% for each enemy that's alive, and that stacks up to 100%. So I'm wondering how much damage he can also do. But to me, on paper, this guy's kit is very nice, and hopefully, maybe if we talk to the Diamond, maybe you can talk to the devs for us, and we can get this A2 fixed.
I'm just wondering, like reading this A2, it reads like it always will do the same amount of damage.
Yeah.
So 15% of their max HP if you kill someone. So if you kill a Spiderling, does that mean that you're going to hit for 15% of the spider's max HP every time? Irrelevant.
That's what I read too.
Yeah, because that actually might be quite cool. Like the spider's got about 6 million HP. So does that mean you don't need to build much attack on him at all? You could build him, like you say, in a stun set. He kills a Spiderling, and then he will always do like 800k, 900k damage.
Yeah, that would actually be good.
That would actually be quite cool. I hadn't read it like that before.
Do you know how much damage the Royal Guard is based on the enemy max HP or no? We don't have that information, right?
I know what mine hits for, but I don't know what the stats are behind
percentage, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
What if it actually was 15%?
Oh no, because mine hits
higher,
for.
right?
Yeah, because mine that ability definitely fluctuates. Because mine, as your gear improves, you hit harder. I'm wondering if this is always the same number.
Yeah.
It reads like it's always the same number.
Yeah, I think it might be. I'll test it out, man. I'll test it out.
So next we're going to go to the Dwarf faction, and we're going to go to Grizzled Jarl. Now Grizzled, I don't know if he's underutilized. Actually, a lot of people know about him in Endgame, but I bet people that are coming up kind of early mid-tier look at this guy and they think, he's not going to do much. He is insanely good in this game. Basically, you've got an A1 with a heal reduction on it. That's kind of okay. It's not amazing, really. It is 100% heal reduction, so if you wanted to use them in Fire Knights, it's pretty solid. But mainly what he's useful for is A2. He's got block debuffs and increased defense. 2 fantastic abilities for Spider and for Clan Boss.
Yeah, definitely.
So block debuffs will stop you getting that stun. Increased defense will just keep you alive for a lot longer. And then he's got an A3, which is an AoE decrease attack, but it's the big version. So, if you need that backup in Clan Boss for your decrease attack move, then he's good for that. Also, if you're against kind of waves in dungeons, throwing out that AoE decrease attack is always going to be pretty solid. Also got a bit of a decreased max HP. That's kind of, again, a bit of a nothing add-on, really. But the other thing for me is this guy hits really hard. Yeah, so you push up some numbers in Clan Boss, and he will hit like a truck. He will easily push out 3 to 5 million damage against Nightmare Clan Boss if he's got a good chunky amount of defense. So often overlooked. I often actually, if I'm going into someone's account trying to help them with Spider, he's one of the champions I look for, because that block debuffs, so you're not taking that poison damage against the Spiderlings, is really, really helpful.
I want to add one more thing that his A, if you notice, his A2 is actually a 3-turn cooldown, which is very, very short. That is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Really solid. Really solid.
All right, next up, we're going to go to the Dark Elves faction. So we have another one that I talked about. This kind of looks like Spider, Fang Cleric. Yeah, he looks like Spider. A lot of people, a lot of people are making fun of him when he came out. Well, his kit to me looks very good. He's got a very solid base speed of 105. He's a support type champion. So his A1, he can transfer one of the debuff on an enemy. I don't really care much for this ability right here, but his A2 is very nice. He heals an ally by 20% of his max HP, so that's always better. So you can stack this guy with HP, and then he's going to heal them for much more than what they would heal if it's based on their max HP. And also, he fills their turn meter by 30% if they're fully healed by the skill. And then he places a Veil on them for 1 turn if they are not fully healed by the skill. So he allows them to take less damage, and now that Veil got buffed, it's basically like a Duchess Veil, right? And that's actually on a 2-turn cooldown if you max that out. That's crazy.
That's actually really solid. That's
crazy,
really solid.
And then in return to the ranks, his A3 ability, he revives the dead ally with 30% HP, and then he fills their turn meter by 30%. And then he also places unkillable buff on them and continuous heal. And that is going to be on a 4-turn cooldown, so that's very good as well. So I think he's definitely an underrated support champion. And his aura skill, it's a universal aura skill, that's always helpful if you want to use it, but it's only 15%.
But actually, if you got lucky and you landed books just in his A2 and A3, because you probably don't want books in A1, do you? But
no.
if you manage to get books in the A2 and A3, he becomes really useful, probably for faction wars as well. That revive a dead ally in faction wars is always going to be good to get you those 3 stars. Yeah, nice. Cool champ, actually. So next, we're going to go to the Undead. We're going to go to Zelatar. So Zelatar is a Spirit Affinity champion. So I find it quite difficult to find decent Spirit Affinity champs. And Zelatar, again, somebody that I look for as a good support-based champion. So A1, he's got a chance to throw out a sleep. It's a bit like the Siphi sleep, not quite as powerful. But to have some sort of utility on an A1 is going to be helpful. He's then got an A2, which is one of the main reasons why I like him. So places a shield buff on all allies equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. So you stack his HP up high, and then basically throws out shields to your whole team. A lot of people struggle with spiders, probably 16 upwards really, and shield is really effective at dealing with the spiderlings. So if you don't have yourself, the beast that is Miscreated Monster, then Zelatar is kind of like his poor cousin, really. But that the shield buff, the shield buff is really helpful, and he also places a continuous heal on all allies as well. So it's like the Bad L type heal. And then on his A3, he's got an attacks all enemies, and booked up, he's got a 75% chance to land sleep. So again, in Spider, really, really effective. If you've already put debuffs out against those spiderlings, like a decreased defense or something, then it becomes 100% chance to land sleep. If you've got the right accuracy check. So he's been in the game forever, very underrated, actually really, really solid support champ.
How big does this guy's shield actually get? Have you tested it out?
Well, it's all based on his HP level. So it's 20% of whatever his HP is. So I've built him up to like an 80k HP level. He's got quite a good base, 20k. So I built him up to 80k. So everyone's getting like a 15, 16k shield from that every time we cast it. So it's a pretty decent chunk of a shield.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I would actually like it if his A2 actually had a cooldown -1 on near the end.
Yeah, 4 turns is a little bit long.
Yeah, but that's okay. I do think he is underrated. I've actually seen a lot of people use him in arena before.
Early to mid game arena, he's really solid.
Yeah. When I first started out.
When I built him in shield set, so he kind of comes with a natural shield for everybody, high HP, natural shield, and then bam, throws out a shield when you need it as a secondary. So yeah, really, really kind of overlooked, solid champion.
Yeah, definitely. Next champion is going to be from the Demon Spawn faction. We have Arrhenius. So she did get reworked. She wasn't that good before. A lot of people don't like using her because her A1 just places a 5% poison, just only 5% poison. It's for 2 turns. But I really like her A2 ability. So it's an AoE, and it has a 75% chance, but if you max it out, 100% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. So she basically is a debuff extender right there. But it's on a 4-turn cooldown if you max it out. So I think she can be very solid if you want to use her as a debuff extender and as a kind of like a backup poisoner for clan boss.
Yeah.
I guess not really for late game, but for early game, that can be very nice. And she has a block buff, so I don't really care much for that ability because I'm not going to use this champion in arena, right?
Yeah, actually, that ability does not suit the rest of her kit at all, does it?
No,
it doesn't fit with her kit at all. If that ability was reworked into something else, like a defensive based ability or some sort of buff or something which was just a bit more relevant, that would be cool. But I guess she works really well in either a counter team or a ally attack team where you get more chances to land that A1.
Yeah, and her base speed is pretty high as well. She's got 103 base speed, so not too bad there.
Yeah, nice.
And then she can also increase ally accuracy in dungeons, but I don't know if you're going to be using her in dungeons. Mostly just for clan boss, for people who don't have better options.
Yeah, no, agreed. Oh, cool. So my next one is actually back into the undeads, and
staying there.
I love the undead faction. I did a faction war guide on the undeads, and I was like, wow, there's so many cool champs here. So I'm going into Husk.
Oh yeah,
Husk,
this guy.
He's actually a beast, and people just don't use him, and he's got such a cool kit. So his A1's okay, it's got provoke on it, so in the arena or something like that, it can be quite nice just to single out one person that you don't want to be going after your damage dealers. So it's a relatively low. I guess if you book it up, 40% chance to place provoke is okay. But mainly what I love about him is A2 AoE ability booked up. It's a 60% chance to land a stun. And it also does damage based on enemy max HP. So this ability is like 2 crazy abilities rolled into one. He's actually one of only 3 champions that are epics that can do AoE stun.
Yeah.
So that's insane. Like, that's legendary territory there. 60% chance to stun everybody. You throw that into the arena and you are crowd controlling free of the enemy, basically. If you throw that into faction wars, 3 of the 5 champs, you're taking out the game. Plus you're hitting hard at the same time. So really cool ability on his A2. And then his A3 is also a pretty hard hitter. And this damage scales off of this guy's HP level. So again, stack him high with HP. You can do a good old hit with that. So yeah, just relatively decent champion, but mainly it's the A2. The A2 is just a great move. If you haven't managed to pull yourself a Cold Heart or any of those other big hitters, he can actually come into Spiders, do some work for you. He could come into Dragon and do some big slams. We're talking like 800k hits against the bosses. So really, really solid champ.
Yeah, man, I agree. He's definitely underrated. A lot of, like, when I first started playing, I was like, oh, maybe I should work on this guy because he's got enemy max HP ability. So I saw people using Royal Guard, making videos with Cold Heart. And I was like, maybe I should work on this guy. So I asked some people, and then they said, oh, don't work on him. He sucks. So that's why I didn't work on him.
I disagree with that. I've used him sort of high level stuff, and he doesn't hit as hard. His multipliers aren't as good as a Royal Guard or a Cold Heart. He probably hits for about 60 to 70% of their damage. But bringing that AoE stun as well, like in Spiders, stun is massive. To deal with those spiderlings on an AoE basis is huge.
Yeah, I agree that he is underrated. I'm just saying that people were like deterring me away from working.
Oh, really? Yeah, no. That's bad advice.
I know. That's what happens when you're new, man. You got to listen to us, man. Listen to Hellhades. Listen to the content creators, people who know what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly, man.
All right, so next champion I have is going to be Captain Tamila. So I'm going back to the Dark Elves.
See, I like the undead. You like the Dark Elves.
Yeah, we're staying on the same level right now.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that she is very underrated. I think she came out as a fusion champion, right? If I recall. I don't remember which fusion. Yeah. Maybe Foley or somebody else.
I think it was Foley. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been Foley. So when she came out, everybody was just using her as the fusion fodder. So the same thing has happened with Sepulchre Sentinel. She was for the Rotos fusion. She's an amazing champion. But this is one of those champions that Plarium throws in there, and then they're trying to, I don't know, man, trying to give you a good champion, but you got to throw it away for the fusion, the featured fusion.
Yeah, yeah.
So what makes her really good is actually her A2 and her A3 ability. Her A1 is not bad. She's able to self-sustain, so she can place continuous heal on herself. But the thing is, though, I don't want to build her with 100% crit rate, because she plays continuous heal only if she has 100, if she crits, right? So I think that's a pretty bad A1. But I guess if you want to crit it and you can get it, it can be helpful, right? But her A2 ability,
because you want to build stats elsewhere. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
because you probably wouldn't go for the crit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and for a lot of early mid game players, getting 100% crit rate through substats is kind of hard. For end game players, it is pretty easy, but they have better champions, so they probably wouldn't use Captain Tamila.
Yeah, sure.
So for A2, I really like this A2. It's a 3-turn cooldown when fully booked, and then she can place big version of increased defense on all the allies and heals them by 15% of her max HP. And she's each HP based, so she does scale very well with HP. So that's very nice. So it's going to be a big heal with increased defense. And the ally protection is very nice to have. She's going to be the one taking the bulk of the damage when she uses this ability. Places 50% ally protection buff on all allies except herself for 2 turns, and that's on a 4-turn cooldown. So for these 2 abilities alone, her A2 and her A3, I do think she's underrated. And if you have her in your vault and you need help in dungeons, things like that, definitely take her out, work on her until you get better champions.
Yeah, I actually think you're right. You don't want to build her with crit because those 2 other abilities don't actually hit, do they?
No.
They're just buffs. So you'd be wasting so much of your stats to do just just the A1.
Yeah.
And actually, all you really care about is A2 and A3. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they rework that A1, maybe make it into even a decreased attack on her A1. I think she'd be one of the top 10 epics. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Cool. All right. So my last one on the list then is going to be where is he? Night Revenants. So we've got Faceless. Yeah. So this champion is probably the worst looking champion in the game, I reckon. But it's just it looks like a sort of messenger that can't see where he's going. But anyway, he's so he's got an A1, which is a bit basic. It's a bit like an inbuilt Relentless set. So 15% chance of placing an extra hit. It's okay. But he's got his A2 builds up crit rate just on him. He's literally like a solo player, yeah. So this is not a team sport for this guy. He's literally out for himself.
Selfish, man.
Yeah, he's a selfish guy. But what I really like about him is his A3. So it kind of goes well with somebody. I talked about a Cardinal in the last video that we did. So he's really cool with someone like a Cardinal that can pick him up with 100% turn meter and then just slam someone with this A3. So he's basically he ignores shield, ignores block damage buff, as well as defense. So pretty much anything that's going to protect somebody, he ignores all of that and goes in and slams them, and he'll one-shot pretty much anybody in the game.
That's crazy.
Very cool ability, but you need to get him to go. His base defense is terrible, so he's probably going to die quite easily. So if you've got someone like a Raglin or a Sifi or a Cardinal that will pick someone up with 100% turn meter and then they go out and slam someone, he's your guy. And he will do a good job for you in the arena. He's pretty much an arena specialist, I'd say, but very much overlooked. As a Void champion, everyone kind of thinks he's pretty weak, but actually his multipliers are high, and he will do a ton of damage on this ability.
Yeah, this ability is crazy, man. And it's on a 3-turn cooldown. I don't know if you actually need 3 turns in arena, but
maybe
low. 3 turns is
maybe
pretty
one
low.
day. Exactly. If you might need to pick him up 3 times, but
and also his base speed is 101, so it's not very hard to make him fast enough to go first before the enemy team, especially if you have turn meter boosters, which is basically the meta in arena, right? So yeah, if you get him to go first, like pick a high priority target and match is over. You basically win.
Yeah, because quite often in the arena setup now, there's maybe 1 or 2 champions that are in there to do damage. Yeah. The others are kind of in there to support the damage. So if you can just take somebody out that is one of those damage dealers, all of a sudden you've got a really good chance of winning that fight.
Well, except for Rotos, right?
Oh yeah, he's different. Yeah,
He's like, I only take weak multi hits.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've cracked through 20.
So that was 20 epic champions that are underrated. Make sure you guys check out Hellhades if you haven't. You guys probably know him. Very knowledgeable guy, great guy. Check out his channel. So the link is going to be in the description. And yeah, hopefully we can do some more collabs in the future.
Yeah, for sure. That's been fun.
Thanks for coming on the channel, man.
Thanks for having me on, man. Cheers, guys. Catch you later.
I'm Tyrone. I need everybody to subscribe to the homie Ali Al Plays. And that's non-negotiable either.